Wow, what a first week of college football it was. What a treat to us. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better week one. We're going to be going over Bill Belichick's horrible, just absolutely horrendous start from top to bottom. Kalen DeBoer's future at Alabama and whether or not, where we think he might be at the end of the year, or maybe even 6 games in for that matter, given how it's trending. Our week one grades on teams and how they performed. Carson Beck's big game, and just so much more. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll meet you all in the studio. All right, guys, welcome in. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in, joining us here while we do this recap show. So we're going to break it down. We're going to do some week one grading. We're going to talk about some moments that, maybe surprised us or we expected, and then just touch on each team individually as we grade them. So we're going to kick things off with Boise State, just because they played the earliest game of the week on Thursday against South Florida. Just want to throw it out there. I gave them an F. Terrible. I mean, there's really no way to describe it other than it was just a terrible performance by Boise. You go from a playoff, they got a first round bye last year, so they got right to the quarterfinals against Penn State, and this year you have an opening game against South Florida, and you go down and you don't just lose, but you get absolutely murdered. I mean, I don't know. Chase, what'd you give them?
Yeah. I also gave them an F. They are the lowest grade that I could possibly think of to give them. Out of everyone else I watched play, I feel like that was the biggest disappointment as well, especially going from, Ashton Jeanty there last year, having such a great season. Like you said, getting that first round bye, and then coming out and having such a pitiful performance against South Florida of all teams. It was very upsetting to see.
I get it. Like, you have a running back in Ashton Jeanty who's like generational for a program like Boise State, but to go down, and I think the worst part about the game is the fact that they were leading it they were leading the game at one point, and they put up 7 points. So
yeah. And that's the only lead that they had at the end of the first quarter there. They were up 7-0, and then that was just it. Like, after that, South Florida just decided to take over, and that was the end of them.
Yeah, and I don't know where you go as a Boise State team. Where do you go from here? I don't.
The good news is, like, the only way you can go really is up. So, like, you got to do something here to reestablish. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, they got to do something next week here just to show that they're still in it.
Yeah, and they got East Washington, I think, at home, so it's going to be that'll be a slaughter fest or a good game. But then they got Notre Dame midway through the schedule. I know UNLV with Dan Mullen there. They had a pretty shaky start, but by the time they get to play them, they'll iron some things out. I don't know, but they're going to need to figure out something, because if they go through the rest of the season like that, they're going to have fun making a bowl game even. So I don't know, but it was a rough go for the Broncos. I think another team that struggled pretty heavily, I think everybody can agree on, this one was probably the biggest shock of the weekend. For some it wasn't. I would say, for me, I wouldn't say I expected it, but they kind of had that identity where they're not near as dominant as what they were in years past for obvious reason. But Alabama goes down to Florida State, and the scoreboard didn't really show it. I mean, it wasn't like it was a terrible scoreboard look, but the game was a bad look for Alabama, especially a program like Alabama that prides themselves on taking control of games like this. I mean, they just looked like they were gassed. They looked like they didn't have anything for a team that was like Florida State that, mind you, last year won 2 games, I think it was. I don't know, just not a good look for Kalen DeBoer going down there. I mean, you're already kind of on shambles ever since last year, where they missed the playoff. That already had a salty taste for the Alabama faithful. They lose the bowl game to Michigan. Michigan, mind you, had a subpar season last year. Not great by any means. I think everybody expected Alabama to win that game convincingly. They lost. And then they come out this year and they lose again. So, I mean, whenever you stack Nick Saban's Alabama against Kalen DeBoer's Alabama, I get it. This is Kalen's second year, but it's already not looking good. I think I've seen a stat line where Kalen already has more losses against unranked opponents than Nick Saban, I think, had his entire career at Alabama.
Ooh, that's a rough one to have there.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Nick Saban is one of the great, but like, man, it's your second year in. To have that is not a good look.
Yeah, I think it brings up the question, like, if this is, I get it. He's new. He's trying to bring in his own identity. He's not Nick Saban. He's Kalen DeBoer. But if this is the way it's already trending, how long until Alabama, the higher ups at Alabama, step in and say, we're done with this guy? Alabama does not have a lot of patience when it comes to losing. I mean,
no, and rightfully so. With having Saban there for all them years, I mean, you once you develop that, you don't like to lose anymore. You don't know, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of get that away from your identity, and now you're bringing this guy in. He's not doing a whole lot. It's definitely a bad look.
yeah, and it's crazy because, like, I mean, I know there's a lot of bitterness over how Kalen DeBoer, his route to there. I've seen a lot of people on social media criticizing him. You know, I saw a post that this guy was the offensive coordinator at Indiana 6 years ago, and now he's the head coach at Alabama. But if you really break it down, I mean, he was the coach at Fresno for 2 or 3 years, I think. Really, I mean, Fresno was rolling under him. Then he goes to Washington, turns a mediocre Washington program into a 2-time. They went to the college football playoff twice, didn't they? Is that 2 years in a row? Or was that?
I think it was just the one.
Was it just the one?
I could be wrong, but I think
for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on that. I don't really know why, but either way, I mean, he had Washington rolling, and that's not an easy task.
Yeah, I saw some memes like how Michael Penix made this guy look so good that he got the Alabama job, and it was all Michael Penix. Now, I mean, I don't really know about that, but there's
but it raises the question, though. I mean, because here's the thing: while he didn't have Michael Penix at Fresno State, he had him at Indiana.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, very true. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that Kalen DeBoer is a bad coach. I truly don't know how long he has. The hourglass is ticking for his tenure at Alabama. Whenever you have Alabama fans that are not used to losing, to put it simple, or simply, I don't know. I like to think that he's going to get it turned around, but I even heard who was it? There was an Alabama player, AJ McCarron, I guess, was on the sideline at the Florida State game, and I guess he was making remarks that like the entire energy was just like off-putting on the sideline.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. This is the amount of memes that I saw. It still get me. Like, I saw another one too. It said like Alabama's downfall started the second they changed Saban's office. I don't know if you saw that, but his office was like a historical thing, and now it looks like an Apple store.
Wow.
So,
yeah. I seen he did some crazy remodeling in there.
Yeah.
Because Saban's looked like, I don't know, like an office from like the 1960s, dude.
Oh yeah,
like it was
a classical office. It looked, in my opinion, it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was sweet. It had that Saban identity to it. You just you look at it and you know whose office it is. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They've definitely got some searching to do on that team, and the Alabama boosters and higher ups, they got some searching to do if they want to continue on with this guy. I mean, he has, I think, a $70 million buyout. So you're looking at a situation. Yeah, you're looking at a situation kind of similar to Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you,
You're gonna bring that up.
I think the situations are similar, but drastically different at the same time. Because Jimbo Fisher was at Texas A&M for 4 or 5 years. I can't remember. I understand why you would want to push that guy. Nothing was changing. It was the same old year after year after year. An 8-14 that gets hot at the end of the year. You're thinking, man, if this team would have had the same steam as it has now in week 2, 3, 4, 5, this is a different picture. But
yeah,
they go in the bowl game, they're rolling, they come back around the next year, same old Texas A&M. I don't think you can kind of, I don't know, for Alabama it's different because and Kalen DeBoer, because he's only been there this is sort of his second year.
correct. Yeah, and like you said, it's only his second year there, so I don't really know what they're gonna do. I mean, that's a big buyout to have to try to do something with that and flip it around. I mean, it's gonna cost them a lot of money if that's the route that they choose to go.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting. Another thing that's going to be interesting is how North Carolina responds after that performance, because it was not good at all.
Yeah, I bet practice has to have sucked this week. I mean, Belichick's got to be lighting their asses up.
I would say the only positive thing for Bill Belichick in that game is the fact that it ended, because
yeah,
I mean, dude, it was bad. I don't know. Did you get to watch all that game or not?
I watched parts of it. At one point in time, I watched them have a nice interception. It was like a high throw pass or something. They picked it off. Then the very next play, North Carolina came out, and the dude threw another pick right back to him. I actually think it was a pick six. So, I mean,
yes. No, it was a fumble. It was actually a fumble by TCU.
Okay, yeah. I mean, just when I was like, okay, I mean, I know they're down big here, but maybe, they're going to turn it around. I mean, Belichick has that coaching way of getting through things. I mean, we watched it with Brady all those years. So I was like, well, you never know. And then that happened. Man, they're really down bad right now.
Yeah, dude,
I ended up giving them an F, or no, I'm sorry, a D as their grade. They're pretty bad.
Yeah, I gave it a D because as bad as it was, this is a TCU team that felt disrespected. And I think them losing the first game last year to Colorado in the fashion they did, and kind of getting no recognition for putting up that great of a fight against Colorado. Colorado walked away with everything. They walked away with the publicity. They walked away with the praise. They walked away with everything, and TCU got nothing. They got a loss on their record. That's it. And I think Sonny Dykes, I think he knew that. I think this game was circled for Sonny Dykes because he didn't want to relive that for his team last year. And
not only that, good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, and that this TCU team is not to be overlooked. This is a good TCU team. I just want to throw that out there.
Correct, yeah, and they are, and I feel like they probably felt overlooked because it was Belichick's first game. I mean, everyone was hyped on it and real big because it was Bill Belichick. But then, like you said, TCU has a good football team, and maybe they felt a little disrespect, and they probably did have that game circled on their calendar because it was like, we're gonna kick off the season this way, and we don't want to feel disrespected. Like, people need to realize that we are a good team, and they proved it, in my opinion, against Monday night against North Carolina. They showed that they are a competitive football team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the biggest question mark for North Carolina is, how do you turn this season? Obviously, this is not going to be a playoff season. So what is your what expectation do you set for what is a win for this year. You know what I mean? Because, listen, we both watched that game. That is not, if the best possible outcome for that team, that might be a 7-5 team. Best
Correct. Yeah,
possible outcome.
I guess for me, I would consider a win. I don't know. I mean, Belichick's not going to take this probably very well, but is to make a bowl game and win that bowl game, and you got to end the year on that high. Especially with how poorly it's starting, I feel like they need to really keep the momentum rolling as much as they can through next year. If they make a bowl game, I feel like is a very hard thing to say right now. I mean, if that North Carolina team is the team that's going to show up and play week in and week out, they're probably not going to make a bowl game. But realistically, like that's where I would hold that standard.
Yeah, and I pulled up their schedule real quick because I wasn't sure. They played TCU, then they go to Charlotte. That's obviously most likely a win, I would hope.
They should win.
Then they played at home against the Richmond Spiders. I would really hope that's a win. And they go to UCF. I don't know if that's a win. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
UCF, I mean, they might be able to pull that one out, definitely.
I think it's doable, but I mean, if they by that's week 4. Week 4, I mean, this team should kind of have a idea of how to function together as a team.
Yeah.
But they're not going to know. That's going to be their first real test again, as a unit against another good another put together team, I guess, that's going to fight you. Then they play home against Clemson. That's a loss. At California, that's most likely a loss. Versus Virginia at home, most likely a loss. At Syracuse, most likely a loss. Stanford is terrible. They're going to win that game. I would bet that my local high school team can beat Stanford right now. They are bad. At Wake Forest, Wake is, again, doable. I don't think it's outside the realm of winning.
Right.
Versus Duke, I watched Duke struggle against Elon. I think that's 100% a winnable game. And then at NC State, I really don't know what NC State is right now. What their identity is, because we don't know yet. So we'll know by that point of the year what that game's looking like. But I'm telling you, dude, I mean, at best, this is it's looking like a 6-6 year at best for Billy Boy and the Tar Heels.
Yeah, and I mean, they're right on that brink then too. I don't know what'll happen. But I mean, how long? I don't think Belichick would be anywhere near a hot seat.
No.
How long do you think his patience can deal with it? I guess would be my sort of question. I just don't know if he's patient enough to deal with this. Just from, I mean, he's
like a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, coaching standpoint, and just from like his history, like he's been in such a winning standpoint, like throughout. And like, at what point is he gonna? I mean, could he get sick of it? Not saying that, you know what I mean. And who knows? They may not 6, but if that is the case at the end of the year, he's gonna, you know what I mean. Obviously, I'm not sure what his contract is. I don't know how many years he's committed to UNC, but
I'm not sure what it is either.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure there'll be a lot of evaluating and self-reflecting at the end too. Sometimes the coaches from the NFL don't make the transition always the best. You know, I mean, we talked about that. We touched on that last week. Like, sometimes that's just not the best solution. They're not as good.
That is a good point, because I like you said, he's from he's so used to a winning culture. I mean, Cam Newton kind of helped him realize that he's not invincible because they were terrible. But I don't know. I guess it depends on what his personal expectation is, because he cannot expect to come in and coach a program that's kind of in the dumps right now.
Yeah, I mean,
to a playoff berth. I mean, if he sets his expectation in the actual realm of realm of possibility, then I think that I think he's fine. But he also has to remember these are not professional athletes. I mean, he might have 2 professional athletes on his team right now, on his entire roster. So it's coaching these guys to a standard that fits his standard, but he needs to realize that all of these guys are not going to be Tom Brady. They're not going to be Wes Welker. They're not going to be Gronk. I mean, I think obviously if you're taking a job like North Carolina, that's the first thing you have to come to the realization of, is the fact that you're coaching a college team that's not in the best of shape. And I think that's also part of why he took the job to begin with, is because it was more of a project for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's done his part. He's won his 6 rings. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, he's definitely like in the Football Hall of Fame forever. Like, he's established his legacy.
Yeah, he's solidified.
At this point, I mean, he might just be trying to complete a side quest. You never know.
Yeah, but I don't know. It will be interesting. I mean, we're not going to really find out anything different or new until week 4, whenever they do play UCF, because they got 2 cakewalks. But it will definitely be interesting to see what transpires down there, because I mean, Monday was about as worse of a start as you can possibly picture. So, like the Boise State instance, you cannot go anywhere but up. Unless you find a way to lose to Charlotte, you can't go anywhere but up.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
So gonna branch on over. We'll give the Ohio State Texas game. We'll give our grades for each team in the beginning, and then we'll talk about the game. So I don't know what you had over there.
Sure. Yeah. I got Ohio State at an A-. And I got Texas at a C+.
Okay. I was gonna say I have Ohio State at an A- as well. I have Texas at a D.
The reason I gave him an A-, and what really sold me on the Ohio State team was their defense. I mean, I believe they had an unbelievable amount of stops. They had 4 fourth down stops as a team on defense, which is crazy. They held that Texas team to 5-14. The Ohio State committed 2 penalties the entire game. They had no turnovers. They played clean. They had that interception, and then they had another interception that was overturned. Their defense looked absolutely phenomenal. I think they sort of struggled on the offensive side. Jeremiah Smith had 2 of his first 3 passes targets dropped, which was actually doubles his amount of drops that he had all of last year. So,
which is a crazy stat line.
Yeah, a crazy stat line, and they held him in Texas held him in check really well, which is honestly why Texas, in my opinion, earned a C+. They did hold Ohio State very well. Ohio State only had 203 yards against them. Texas had 336 yards.
Yeah, the defense for Texas was lights out. The defense for both teams was truly lights out. I mean, obviously you figured they were going to struggle offensively on both teams. You have a is Julian Saint a true freshman, or is he a sophomore?
He's a sophomore.
Okay, so you have both quarterbacks getting their first quote real start in college football. I mean, Arch Manning, obviously a couple games last year, nothing can touch going to the Horseshoe, your first collegiate start. Right. So I did not expect him to come out and start passing the ball like Peyton. I will say I feel like I did expect a little better.
To be completely fair, if you look at Peyton's first start in college, it was also pretty bad. Peyton did not do well in Tennessee in his first start.
And I don't want to jump the gun. Like, I don't want to jump the gun on like a lot of people right now and say, "Oh my God, Arch Manning is terrible. He's not the guy we thought he was." You're talking about a guy that went to Ohio State, which is one of the blue bloods of college football, if not. I mean, you could make the argument the most prestigious school in college football. You could definitely make that argument.
At this moment in time, yes, I would agree with that. They are one of the most,
and
you could make the argument that the most.
Yeah, the only other team I think in this two teams, I guess, in this era, but I still don't really, I don't know. I guess you could make the argument that Clemson in recent years they're definitely a blue blood, but they're not Ohio State or Alabama. They're just not.
Correct.
Alabama and Ohio State. Georgia, I'm a diehard Georgia fan. Georgia had 2 awesome years, 2021, 2022, and they've been good. Don't get me wrong. They've been good since 2018 and on. Mm-hmm. They've been a reliable 10-win team. Kirby Smart is, in my opinion, the next Nick Saban. He already is. But they're not Ohio State. They're not Alabama. And in terms of consistent production year in and year out, there is no other team better since 2008 and 9 than Ohio State and Alabama. There's just not. Those teams are just they're just on 2 different levels, or on a completely different level. I'm sorry. There's 2 different levels. There's Alabama, Ohio State. There's Georgia, and I guess you could argue there's a 3rd level of the rest of the field. I feel like Georgia is catching them on that standard in recent years, but it's not what those 2 teams are. And I don't know. I just feel that Ohio State was kind of disrespected going into this game. And I think that's the worst thing you can do for an Ohio State team is disrespect them.
It does seem like the second that happens, they just turn it on. They really know and get ready to play football. And when they come out to win. I mean, this defense was, I keep talking about it, but this defense was just on another level, in my opinion. They looked like the best defense in the country this past weekend.
Yeah, and I would agree with that hands down 100%. I mean, they looked lights out. I don't care if Arch Manning had a bad game. You have a Texas team that has veterans on that team at this point. I mean, you have a Texas O-line that is supposed to be like the best O-line in the country. And I've seen Arch Manning moving around that pocket a little more than what I would picture him to against.
Yeah.
I understand Ohio State's defense is Ohio State's defense, but Texas line is supposed to be stout. So
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, not a bad game overall. It's not a bad look you lose by 7 points. If you're
Correct.
Texas, you're fine. There's no
Correct.
harm, no foul. At least, honestly, you can go the rest of the season and say, I went to the Horseshoe, fought fought Ohio State down to the last quarter, lost by 7 points, first game of the season at their stadium. I think that's a good look on it's a loss, but it's still a good look on a resume.
Right, they didn't get blown out by any means. I mean, they were in this game up until the last 2 minutes, minute and a half. I mean, it was a close game. Like I said, the biggest thing was those 4 stops there on defense that Ohio State had that really just shut this game, closed it out.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna go into my winner of the week. We talked earlier, we're gonna do winners of the week and losers of the week. It's actually Chase's idea. I'm gonna say my winner of the week is TCU, and I think they're my, for obvious reasons. They didn't just beat North Carolina. I mean, they absolutely obliterated them on the road at night. I understand North Carolina is not like marching in the Death Valley. Having said that, that stadium was a packed house whenever they started that game. Yeah. And TCU took that stadium and turned that stadium into a high school championship.
Yeah, I mean it was impressive. I honestly I that's my winner of the week too. I think that TCU team really showed up to play and they did not let us down. They went in there and played lights out football for 4 quarters straight and just as disrespected as they probably felt, rightfully so. I mean, I know we touched on it earlier talking about UNC, but they were really phenomenal. I mean, just all around good football.
Yeah, it truly was all around. I mean, their defense played lights out. They ran the football. I know that was like a big
Yeah.
point. I guess Sonny Dykes wants to try and do this here is they needed an identity on the ground. And Barnes was dude.
Yeah, I mean, he had 11 carries, 113 yards. I mean, 100-yard games, the mark you want to
Yeah,
hit
that
as a
is
running back.
yeah, you can't ask for more.
And
I
he had
know
yeah, and he had
Josh
a
Hoover
touchdown on
was
top of that.
oh, did he? Josh
Yeah.
Josh Hoover was slinging that football. I mean, slinging it. I don't know
Yeah.
what his percentage completion was, but every time I look
27 for
down,
36.
yeah, dude, you can't ask for better than that. I mean, he every time I watched him, I felt like he was just slinging it, dude. I just the wide receivers were on that one receiver. I remember that he had over 100 yards receiving in the game. It just insane, dude. I remember them. I can see him. He had like Hawaiian hair, if I remember right, but I don't know who he was.
Dwyer? I don't know if I said that right.
That
Jordan
might
Dwyer?
that might be him. I
Yeah, he had
don't.
9 receptions, 136 yards, and a touchdown.
Yes, that's him. He had 100.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, just
I mean,
absolutely cooking them. I don't know. I mean, is this a game where 4 weeks, 5 weeks from now we go, okay, it was North Carolina. North Carolina's horrible. Or is this a
right.
game where we go 5 weeks from now and their TCU still rolling, and we're like, all right, that was just someone who stepped in the path of the wrong team. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. I want to go look at TCU's schedule real quick because I don't know what that entails.
Yeah, yeah.
So they go. Okay, so they have a fluke this week. They're gonna murder this team. Then they have SMU, Arizona State, and Prime in back-to-back weeks. Kansas State so far has looked bad. I don't know if it keeps trending the way it is for Kansas State. It's going to be an ugly season. So the rest of the year, I looks like TCU actually, besides Iowa State, I don't know what Rich Rodriguez's West Virginia team is going to pan out to be, but it looks like a very doable schedule from TCU's standpoint.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, TCU, like you said, they got a couple games there. SMU, Arizona State. Those are gonna be good games.
Yeah, and they got
Um,
to go to the road at 9 p.m. at Arizona State. That is going to
yeah,
be yeah.
yeah, that's a bit of a rough game there. But I mean, it's definitely. I mean, if this TCU team plays like they did against North Carolina, it's definitely doable.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is a TCU team that what would that be 3 years ago? 3 years ago, they were in the national title. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I know that's a game that they would like to forget, but you can't shy away from the fact that they beat Michigan, they won their division,
yep,
and they appeared in the national title. That's big for a program like
exactly.
TCU. Sonny Dykes does not get the credit he deserves down there for sure, 100%.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, I wanna go into the LSU Clemson game, and I just wanna issue Brian Kelly an apology real quick. As painful as it is for me to say this, but I did not think that he had it in him to win at Death Valley. Well, one of the Death Valleys. Because LSU looked like a good football team against Clemson.
They did.
They really did. And I
They
remember
did.
you saying you were really high on them, and I mean, maybe you knew something I didn't because they went and took care of business.
Yeah, they came out and they played really well. I felt like Brian Kelly was on a mission there. to do this and prove to everyone that he can coach. He can win this opening game, not coach, I guess, but he can win this opening game,
Yeah,
especially
dude.
against such a highly touted opponent, because Clemson's is nothing to sleep on by
And
any means.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say that, like, I think that this is his first win in week 1. This is his best win out of all of his wins, including his win against Alabama. I think this is his best win because this is a win on the road in a hostile environment against a national championship coach, or national champion coach, Dabo Swinney, not just once, but multi-time national champ coach. And I guess 2-time. I don't think he won it 3, but a coach who knows how to win and knows how to win a lot. And you go on the road, all the haters hating, and you go and you hush them. So big win. I gave LSU an A+ on the week. I don't think that you can truly ask for a better week 1. I mean, the only team that I think could have potentially had the running for a better week would have been Texas if they would have went to the Horseshoe and beat Ohio State.
Yes.
But they didn't, and LSU took care of business, and it was a night game too. That has a lot to do too. I still think I would give LSU the edge over Ohio State, or over Texas, I mean, just because it was a night game at Clemson. I mean,
and I mean, if that game was at night Ohio State, then you could make that would have been an even more toxic environment.
Correct. So LSU, I don't know. I mean, realistically, very doable schedule. They have LA Tech. That's a win. They have Florida at home. I don't know. We don't know what Florida is yet. Florida, I mean, that could be it's a toss-up. This is a very, very crucial year for Billy Napier.
I think that's going to be a very interesting game.
I think so too. And Florida in the past has been a very big problem for LSU. I think LSU wins just because Florida won last year. I think Brian Kelly's gonna. Let's be honest. LSU's already looking at this game. They're overlooking. I know they say they don't overlook any. They're overlooking LA Tech, and they're looking right at Florida. They're circling Florida for sure. But they have Florida, and then they have Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah,
that's so right there. You're looking already 4-0 in my eyes. Their first, Florida's their first true test, but their first game where I think personally where they might lose is at Ole Miss. I don't know. It's TBD. I don't know what time that game is.
I think they have a very tough stretch right there. Ole Miss, Ole Miss is going to be an interesting game. But, I mean, they got Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vandy, Texas A&M, Bama. That's a rough 5 stretch right there. I mean,
it is.
I mean, Vandy, we got to see a little bit more.
Yeah, Vandy's not the old Vandy anymore, though. I mean, they're...
No. I don't... We'll be well into the season at that point to know what Vandy's really looking like.
Yeah, and you got... I know... Between Florida and Arkansas, you have 2 desperate coaches right there. You have a desperate coach in Billy Napier. You have a even more desperate coach in Sam Pittman. I would say the expectations for Billy Napier are higher, obviously, given the program. But Arkansas, I mean, Sam Pittman, dude, is in... Arkansas really wants... That might be the difference. I guess Billy Napier's in a tighter squeeze than what Sam Pittman is, because Arkansas, I think, really wants to keep Sam Pittman. They love Sam Pittman, but he's just not producing the results that program needs.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think they definitely drop 1, LSU, but where?
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't know where, but
this is a good... Yeah, I was just gonna say this is a good football team, and I think that any way you paint it, I think this team gets into playoff.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree. I mean, I picked them earlier as being in my top four, and I stand by that. I still think this is a team that's going to be very, very highly, well, I don't know what the word exactly would be, but very highly rated come that time, come bowl season.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. Um, Real quick, just real brief, I just want to give a shout out to Hugh Freeze in Auburn. Hugh Freeze is in a very tight position at Auburn as well. I mean, let's be honest here, coaching in the SEC is just different. The expectations are different, the environments are different, the schedules are different. I mean, a fluke game, I'm sorry, all you Big Ten people. Chase is a Big Ten person, but
Yeah.
but playing, I think you can agree with me though. And I'm not saying that the Big Ten is a cakewalk, but Arkansas is your fluke game in the SEC. Northwestern is your fluke game in the Big Ten. Those are two drastically different programs.
They are.
Like Arkansas, I think we can both agree would beat Northwestern.
I would
Probably
hope.
handily. Like Northwestern's bad.
I would hope, yes.
Like they're just Maryland again. Maryland's a different program than, for say, a Missouri. Like,
Yeah.
they're just, I don't know. I think the two conferences, and that might be because I have a little bit of SEC bias for sure. I think we can both agree that the SEC and the Big Ten are way different than the Big 12. But
Oh yeah, they're definitely the top two divisions in football, or top two conferences in football, by
I
far.
just, yeah, I just think that the coaches in the SEC are under a lot more pressure because every single program down there, besides maybe Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt just wants to have, they've had so many horrible seasons that I think that they're just content with a bowl game every year if a coach can do that. But yeah, they're just, these coaches constantly push to the standard of, we want more. And that's where Hugh Freeze finds himself. He finds himself in a program that wants more, but is lacking the resources and lacking it, lacking what, how do I want to say this? Essentially, Auburn fans want more than where that program is right now. I mean,
Correct.
that program, Gus Malzahn kind of left that program kind of in the dump. And I don't know if Hugh Freeze is the guy, but if he is or if he isn't, they had a great opening week against Baylor, going on the road to Baylor. I don't care who you are. I mean, Baylor is not a bad football team.
No, not in the slightest. No, Baylor's not. I mean, that was honestly kind of an unexpected game. I know that I believe we both picked Bama there, or not Bama,
Yeah,
Baylor there to win.
yeah, we did. Both of us.
And yeah, and Auburn came out and kind of shocked both of us. They played really good football, and it was impressive to see.
Yeah, and like I said, like
I mean,
it's week one. I mean, like I said,
yeah,
5 weeks from now we can come out and be like, man, Baylor's terrible. I would very strongly claim that I don't think that's going to happen, but it could. I mean, it's every year you see a team drastically change. So I don't know. We'll see. Look at Florida State. They go undefeated. They come back. They're terrible the next year. So things happen. It's college football, but I just think that Hugh Freeze, that was a big win for him where his program is. Just going forward for the rest of the season, that was a big
I mean,
lift off his chest. Because if he loses that game at Baylor, it's already a downward spiral for him. So at least now he has a chance. He has a chance to regroup. They're going to get for sure 2 more wins. They have 2 or 3 games on that schedule where I think that they're definitely going to lose, and then they have a couple other games where it's like they're playing decent teams. But I still think they have a chance to win. But the majority of that schedule for Auburn is very doable. So I think this has the potential to be a very good year for Hugh Freeze and maybe kind of save his job a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted to touch on that just real quick. But yeah, I think we should, before we wrap up here in a bit, I think we should touch on the Miami Notre Dame game and the quarterback play and the receiver play.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I
specifically
mean,
one play.
the possible catch of the year in week one. uh, I think that was phenomenal there by Miami. Carson Beck really impressed me. He came out and played really good. I know you're not going to like to hear this as a Georgia fan, but I saw some memes. It's crazy that he went from last year, all these drop passes, to having a catch like that made. It was. I saw that. I saw that thing posted, and I was like, "Wow, that's a good one there."
Listen,
But I was very impressed.
yeah, I won't shy away from the fact that Georgia had, well, they had the most drops in college last year out of all the teams. So,
Which is crazy because of how highly they were still, at what a level they were playing at, and having the most drops. That's an impressive thing on its own.
yeah, it's so frustrating too because you just feel like they were so close to putting all the pieces together, but
Yeah,
they just every year or every game it was, I mean, even on games where you're expecting this team to come out and destroy these teams, they just didn't. They were just a different Georgia team. Still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, still won the SEC championship, but they still, when push came to shove, they could not figure out how to catch the football, and it was very aggravating from my couch to see, because you have a guy like Arian Smith who ran oh my gosh, like a 4.4 40, somewhere in that area.
Faster than hell, yeah.
And you just thinking if we could just get him the ball somehow. But the only way you could give him the ball is if you handed it off to him because he couldn't catch shit.
Jet sweep.
Yeah. And if they did that, every time he touched the football, you're like, wow, this guy's good. And then he'd run a route and drop the football, and you're like, can we just skip that and we'll start over? But it was every time. But yeah, I will say Carson had a really good outing. I hate to say it, but I knew he wasn't the problem, but the fan in me wanted to.
He needed someone to blame.
Yeah, I knew that it was a combination between the receivers and Mike Bobo, but
Yeah.
I knew once I knew Carson was leaving, he was definitely the scapegoat for sure. People just started thrashing him. I knew he wasn't the problem. Did he irritate me last year? Oh my God, so many times. But he was not the problem. It was clear. He was. If you're putting the ball in the receiver's hands and they're not catching it, then you're not the problem.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
and I don't know how more people couldn't see that. I think it was even bigger for him though, from an from an NFL prospect standpoint, because I know a lot of people were worried about his injury, and for him to come out and sling the ball the way he did, I think that he kind of showed NFL scouts that, hey, just a bump in the road. I still got it. So
yeah, it was a good bounce back. I mean, it's a really good bounce back. It makes him look really good for his future.
And that's not
football.
That's not a mild, like that's a very serious injury he had. So to come back the way he did, obviously he had some help. I mean, we watched some of those catches.
Yeah.
So, and what's his name? Tony? Is that his last name? I can't remember. I think his last name was Tony. Just unbelievable. I mean, every time the dude touched the football, you're like, wow, this guy's good. This guy's going to play on Sunday for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. Now, on the flip side, CJ Carr, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was...
the
questionable decision making.
Yeah, the most frustrating part is like, he has the talent. You got little spurts, and I just want to point out Notre Dame's defense lights out. Especially going against a team like Miami. But Notre Dame's
Yeah.
offense, if they could have just picked up a little bit more slack and CJ Carr had a little bit more or a little better decision making, that I think they win that game, to be honest. Like they were so
Yeah.
close, and you could just tell that CJ Carr is going to be a baller whenever he gets a little more experience down the road.
Yeah, I mean, being a freshman and stuff, like you can definitely how young he is showed. And definitely, I think that was a great game for him, and nothing but growth, man. He definitely has a bright future with Notre Dame. Yeah, I mean, with transfer portal is if that's where he chooses to stay. But I think that he definitely could have something going in the future if he watches film, studies, works. He definitely could be something.
Yeah, I think he definitely showed spurts too of like a Riley Leonard type deal. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected him to run the football the way he did in that game.
No.
I
No, not at all.
yeah, he looked. I'm gonna give his quarterback play, given some costly. If we're tossing the costly intentional groundings out the window, because some of those were just bad. I don't know what he was
Yeah.
thinking. Obviously, he had to know that it's intentional grounding. I know he doesn't want to take the sack, but he ended up taking an intentional grounding, lost it down, 10-second runoff. At that point, it's like, dude, just I don't know. It's hard to say. They probably
Yeah.
would have lost more time, honestly, on a sack. So maybe it wasn't quite as bad, but
Right. And by the
I
time
s-
I go back in the line, if they spike the football, I mean, it's,
yeah.
there's lots down there. Now, if you had a play ready to go, and maybe the better thing would have been to take a sack, but
Even only that, but
I'm
like
not
some
on
of
that
those,
set. I'm not sure.
yeah, but some of those other intentional groundings came at different points in the game where time wasn't an issue. And it's
Correct.
like, why are you doing this? I don't. I know why he's a freshman, and I'm not trying to rattle on him or anything, or rag on him or
Yeah.
anything, but like that comes with time. But you could
Mhm.
definitely tell that he was you could definitely tell he was a freshman, and this was his first start. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But
Completely agree.
he made Marcus Freeman look pretty good on his gut decision. I will say that.
He did. He did. And props to Marcus Freeman. And Freeman's a good coach, man. He's always I mean, he's done great with that Notre Dame team the past couple of years. I mean, how long's he been there? Couple, two.
I think this is Brian Kelly's been with LSU now. I think this is his start of his 4th year. I think
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Because what LSU was the champion in 2019, and then
Yeah.
Ed Orgeron coached 2 more seasons, so 21 got fired. 21. Brian Kelly came in 22, I believe. So now this would be it's either his 3rd or 4th year, one of the two.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's done well with this Notre Dame program. I definitely think he's a he's established himself as a really good head coach, and I think it's possibly a matter of time just until they make it and make the deep run into the playoffs deeper, and possibly, well, they've already made it deeper, and I guess win the Natty.
Yeah, that's been like the dark cloud over top of Notre Dame for quite a while now, leading back to Brian
Yeah.
Kelly and whatever. But like that has been until Notre Dame wins the Natty. They've gotten there. They've gotten there numerous times, but they just they cannot figure out a way to finish it. And I do think that Marcus Freeman, I definitely think that he has it in him to finish it. To be honest with you, I think when push comes to shove, I think that he's a better coach than Brian Kelly. Personally, and only because Marcus Freeman was Notre Dame a bad team last year? Obviously not, but that was a team that lost to Northern Illinois and then found a way to come back and not only make the Natty, but they beat a very, very talented Penn State team. They beat a very, very talented Georgia team. They went to the national title. Ohio State got the best of them. You take a look at that Ohio State team, I think we can both agree on why they got the best of them. I mean,
The amount of NFL players on that team is very high, and
just loaded.
I mean, yeah, that was a very good Ohio State team. I mean,
Yeah. The amount of talent, current and future NFL talent is through the roof on that team last year. I think that's a team where 10 years from now, that'll be one of the teams where we look back and go, holy smokes, that was a college team, because
Yeah. They were phenomenal. I mean, you had both running backs drafted. You had a wide receiver drafted, the quarterback drafted. You had multiple defensive players drafted. You had offensive linemen drafted. It was a very good team.
yeah. Yeah, so no shame there.
Nope.
I think Marcus Freeman will, I think Notre Dame will bounce back. I think they'll be just fine. I still think
Yeah,
they'll make the playoff.
me too.
One coach who is having his fair share of struggles and is the opposite of Marcus Freeman right now. Brent Pry. And I like Brent Pry. Seems like a really nice guy. Good family man. I want to see him do well. The problem is he's not doing well. And I don't view Virginia Tech as a blue blood when it comes to college football, but I view them as a team that expects to win. And simply put, Brent Pry's not doing that. So how long until he's no longer there? I think it's soon. How soon is the question.
Yeah, it depends on, I mean, how well that VT team does throughout the rest of this year. I'm gonna pull up their schedule right now.
Well, here's the thing for me. If they lose to Vanderbilt, it's home. If they lose to Vanderbilt, I think Brent Pry loses his spot at the head coach seat. I don't. If they can win against Vanderbilt, you're looking at a very, very different perspective for Brent Pry, and I'll tell you why. That just rhymed. Because if you beat Vandy, then you have Old Dominion, who has given them struggles in the past. I still think they'll win.
Yeah.
You have Old Dominion win. You have Wofford. That's a win. At NC State, a very doable win. Versus Wake Forest. I think your first, besides NC State, that will be their first true test. But besides that, I mean, the team that you circle on here is Miami. Florida State, yeah, they're ranked 14th. They beat Alabama at home. But we don't know what Alabama and Florida State are yet. They could be two teams that at the end of the season they finish 8-4, and we go, wow, those really weren't two great teams.
Correct. Yeah, we don't know enough about Florida State yet, in my opinion, to know how well that they are. And we will find out. I mean, they have to play Clemson. Obviously, they play Florida. They could, they got it through Alabama. But we'll see. We'll definitely find out more about the Seminoles.
Here's the problem for Brent Pry when I'm looking at this schedule. He has a lot of away games that are toss-up games.
Correct.
And I think that when push comes to shove, I think that might be the difference. You go to NC State. I don't think NC State's a great team, but you factor in home field advantage, you factor on the road. Granted, it's not far from Virginia. It's not like they're going across the country or anything, but
right,
that might be the edge that North Carolina State needs. Then you have home against Wake Forest, very winnable. I think Virginia Tech actually has the better team. But then you go on the road the next week to Georgia Tech and you play Haynes King. Once again, I don't think Georgia Tech is a national title team, but it's at home. And I think whenever you factor on the road, you factor in home field advantage for Georgia Tech, you factor in a 20-year senior in Haynes King, that might, I think that's the edge Georgia Tech needs. And then we don't know what Florida State is, but you factor on the road. They're at Florida State's at home. Whether or not Florida State has any momentum in that time of year, I know these are all questions to be answered. The biggest one for Brent Pry is he needs to win this weekend against Vandy. And Vandy is not the old Vandy. This is a Virginia Tech team that lost to Vandy last year. maybe perhaps a little bit of redemption. I don't know, but it's gonna need to happen for Brent Pry. Or if it's gonna happen, it starts this weekend against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely something he's gonna have to step up to big, because that Vandy team, like you said, is not like the old Vandy team. They're gonna step up, and they're a good team now. They're a decent SEC team. They're no longer the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and he's in survival mode. So I don't. Yeah. I'm just gonna make a bold prediction. If they lose to Vanderbilt, I think Brent Pry loses his job by week 3. I think that whenever they go to play Old Dominion, I think that Virginia Tech will have a new head coach if they lose to Vandy. This is the week. This is the game that the people were circling and going, okay, we're going to give him a chance against Vanderbilt. If he loses, we're done. If he wins, we'll let him keep going. And I think that trickles all the way down the list until he beats a team of substance. If he goes
either that Florida State team or that Miami team.
Yeah, like if he I hate to say it, but like if you lose to South Carolina, you win against Vandy, you win against Old Dominion, you win against Wofford, but you lose against North Carolina State, that's your first divisional opponent you play and you lose. So
you're right back kind of at the beginning where you started.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I like Brent Pry. He was a phenomenal D coordinator at Penn State. I want to see him do good. It's just, he's not, it's not looking good for him right now. I think we'll wrap up the week 1 recap show there. We'll probably do our predictions at our week 2 pregame show, or pre-game show, pre-week show. It'll probably come out either Thursday or Friday, one of the two. Week 2's looking pretty dry. There's one big game, Michigan, Oklahoma, and then some other games that we'll touch on that we think might be sleeper games or games that kind of are getting overlooked. But generally speaking, there's really only one big game, and so the show this week might be a little shorter, I guess, compared to week 1. Week 1 was obviously loaded, but
yeah, week 1 was a phenomenal week.
Yeah, so it's definitely gonna look a little different, but we're still gonna have a show on it. We'll still do our weekly picks. I want to throw out Chase and I both went. I went 12-5. Chase went 11-5 with our picks. The only reason I went 12-5 is because I picked the Ohio State Texas game. He didn't pick it, so that's where my extra win came from. But I mean, generally speaking, pretty good on the picks. Crazy week 1. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, as expected, we had some great picks, and we also had some really bad takes.
Yeah, the North Carolina take was terrible, dude.
As stated in the intro, we're not professionals. I mean, you're gonna have that here.
Yeah, that was. I wish I could go back and erase that. That was. Oh my god, that was bad. Between that pick and I had another outrageous pick. Can't remember what it was, but it was bad. And I remember just re-listening to it, because I re-listened to it after like all the games were played, and I remember just thinking, oh my god, I wish I could just go back and slap myself in the face. But it's week 1. You never know what's gonna happen. Everything's up in the air until you get to like week 4 or 5, and these teams actually start to like establish themselves. So it's a guessing game for a lot of these teams. But I think we'll wrap her up there. If you guys are still listening, appreciate you listening, tuning in. Be sure to check out our week 2 game day pick show, pregame show, whenever that drops. Like I said, a little drier, but we'll throw in some other games where we think there might be some potential drama. So appreciate you, and hopefully we'll catch you guys in the studio on that one.